So after the conclusion of recently held United States election and the famous victory speech of Donald Trump, we have seen many meltdowns in the social media, not only from the United States but also from Bharat. But today in this session, we shall not resort ourselves to that standard. Instead, we will only focus on those things which is essential for us with respect to upcoming examinations. Okay, and UPSC has this trend that wherever there is an interesting election or very important election, UPSC has the trend to pick questions from that election process. And even in today's topic, we will be discussing about the election process of Bharat and that of USA. Okay, because there is a huge difference between the processes, the election process of Bharat and of USA. Okay, first let us begin with office. The office of Prime Minister is called Prime Minister's office. The office of the President is called President of the United States, or in short form it is also called POTUS. Okay, the executive branch, Prime Minister is the head of the executive branch, whereas in case of USA it is the President. But the difference lies here. Commander-in-Chief. With respect to Commander-in-Chief of Navy, Air Force, it is always the President in case of Bharat. Always, it's never the Prime Minister. Yes. Whereas in case of USA, it is the President. So there is one difference between Bharat and USA. There is another difference in tenure. We have seen that the tenure of the PMO, Prime Minister's office, is 5 years, whereas in case of USA, it's 4 years. But there is one more difference. What difference? That is, Prime Minister Modi can be elected as far as he wins indefinite number of time. But in case of President of the United States, the President can be elected only 2 terms in his entire life. That means maximum 2 times he can be elected. Okay. The election process in Bharat is direct, and in case of USA it is indirect. We will certainly be understanding the difference between direct and indirect in further slides. Qualification required to become the Prime Minister of Bharat is 35 years of age, and the person has to be Indian citizen. And in case of USA, the person has to be 35 years of age, US born citizen, yes, important distinction, resident of USA for 14 years. Whereas there is no such criteria with respect to born as far as Indian citizen is concerned. What this means is, for example, there are various ways by which an Indian can get citizenship. That is by naturalization. Yeah, registration. Okay. So, or by birth. Whereas in case of USA, the person has to born in USA. Yes. So there's a difference. In India, it's even if the person is not born in India, that person can be the Prime Minister or the President of India. Whereas that is not the case with respect to United States of America. The Congress of US is equivalent to that of Parliament. Like in Parliament, we have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. In case of US Congress, it has House of Representatives and Senate. Okay. In Lok Sabha, we have 543 members present. Okay. And in a House of Representatives, there are 435 members. Whereas in case of Rajya Sabha, we have 245 members. That is equivalent. Rajya Sabha is equivalent to Senate, and in Senate there are 100 members. Like USA, United States of America, has 50 states. Okay. From each state, 2 Senate comes. Total number is 100 Senate. Whereas in case of Rajya Sabha, it's 245 members. Okay. So there is no role of Congress in electing President of the United States. Whereas in case of Bharat, there is definitely the direct role of the Parliament, because it's the Parliament that chooses the leader of opposition and the leader of the House. Isn't it? So this is also the difference between the 2 states. When it comes to the processes of electing the President of United States, it is quite complicated and lengthy. It starts with the primaries and caucuses. Then in second step, it is National Convention. Third, it is General Meeting, which is recently concluded, right? After this is Electoral College. We'll be explaining this, what is Electoral College, in the next slide. And at last, there is an inauguration. Like as we have already discussed that in USA, there is an indirect election. Okay. How is it different from that of India? It's something that we'll be discussing in this slide. General public exercise the adult franchise to elect electors. Like in India, Like in Bharat, what do? We as public, we elect our MPs, right? Member of Parliament. That this is in Bharat. But in USA, they elect electors. Okay, and in total there are 538 electors. Okay, and the combination of these electors, 538 electors, this is called electoral college. Okay, now these electors are divided based on the basis of population. Like in India, if we take an example of India, because it's easier for us to comprehend, if you take two states like UP, Uttar Pradesh, it has 80 seats, 80 MPs, right? 80 member of parliament in Uttar Pradesh. Whereas in case of Goa, how many member of parliament? Only 2 member of parliament. How do we determine this? We determine this on the basis of population. Yes, on the basis of population. Similarly, in case of USA also, right? These electors are divided on the basis of population, and it varies from state to state. For example, in the state called California, there are 55 electors, whereas in the state of Florida, there is only 29 electors. Winner takes all. Now, this is a very important difference between Indian election and election in the United States. How is it different? This is something we'll be trying to understand. Let's take an example of Uttar Pradesh again. Uttar Pradesh has 80 MPs, right? Now, for instance, if BJP wins 39 MPs and if Congress wins 41 MPs, the entire 80 seats of Uttar Pradesh goes to Congress because Congress has the majority. This is the system which is followed in the United States. Whereas in case of India, this is not the case that we follow. In India, if BJP has won 39 seats and Congress has won 41 seats, 39 goes to BJP and 41 goes to Congress. Whereas in case of USA, the entire 80 seats goes to the party that has the majority. So that is how it is different. Now these 538 electors, they again re-vote. They do re-vote. Okay, in the month of December. Now this is the month of November, right? In November, they have decided the electors. Now these electors, they are again in the month of December, they are going to vote twice. One vote for president and another vote is for vice president. Now since Republican Party has the maximum number of electors, right, it is evident that they are going to vote for Donald Trump and JD Vance. So what is the majority? 270. This is the majority of USA. Okay, in case of Bharat, it is 272. After they voted, that is after these electors have voted, now counting takes place, and this counting is done in Congress. This is done in Congress, and finally official declaration is done. So there is a very long and lengthy process. So election starts in November and only in January we get the new president in the United States. So what USA voted against? What USA voted for is the general assumption for everybody to make. But what USA voted against? They voted against wokeism. Because Donald Trump is not a strong proponent or supporter of wokeism. Yes, he believes in family values. Donald Trump believes in the concept of society. Okay, since Donald Trump won, we can presume that this time USA voted against wokeism, against individualism. So USA has voted against LGBTQ propaganda. That's rampant in USA, by the way. And they voted against the racket mafia of puberty blockers. Yes, there is a mafia which is going on in United States, wherein actually it's the school which is promoting these type of puberty blockers in the school. Yes, where they are encouraging students from class 12, where they are encouraging students of 12, 13 years old to consume these puberty blockers. And by the time that these people, the school kids realize that what they have done, there's no coming back from that. It's a heinous crime which they are propagating in United States today. And they have voted against illegal immigration. Illegal immigration is also another burgeoning problem in United States today, right? They have voted against inflation. Yes, there's a rampant inflation in United States today. Why? Because of the war economy that they support. Endless war across the globe. Now, let me explain this inflation. How is it rising in United States? Because they support war. Okay, for instance, they are giving thousands and thousands of dollars to Ukraine to fight their war against Russia. This is, by the way, I have discussed this in the previous session. If you have not seen, please, I encourage you to watch that video. Okay, and these dollars they are giving to Ukraine, and the people of United States are not having a dollar with themselves. Yes, and that is how the inflation rises. This is the problem which USA is facing today. And people have voted against this war because if Kamala Harris would be the president of the United States, this war would never have stopped. And Donald Trump has been saying continuously that once he becomes the president, he is immediately going to stop the war. All right. So, how are we expecting the relationship with Bharat after the victory of Donald Trump? He will work on trade parity. Yes, today Bharat enjoys positive balance of payment with respect to USA. That is, we export more to USA than import. Whereas in case of China, we import more and export less. So there may be decrease in outsourcing production. Now what this means is there was a campaign which was run by Donald Trump. What was the campaign name? MEGA. MEGA. What is the full form of this? Make America Great Again. Okay. So how is he planning to do that? By not outsourcing the production in various parts of the world. That is, he wants the company to come in USA and produce. Okay. Next is, he may be a hard bargainer. Yes, he is definitely going to bargain with us. He is not going to say that, okay, just because you are a developing nation, we are going to give you some discount. No, he's not going to do that. He is going to work on trade parity. Yes, if you give me something, I'm going to give you in return. Okay, he may be a hard bargainer, but he will not play double game. He will, as far as the double game is concerned, as far as his track record is concerned, the 4 years of his presidency, he did not play a double game with us. So based on that assumption, I am saying that at least Bharat is not going to suffer the double game that this current dispensation is doing with Bharat, right? For instance, USA has two parties. Okay, how do they play this double game? US has two parties, that is State Department and Defense Department. Okay, State Department is always negative about Bharat. Defense Department is always positive about Bharat. State Department always comment about human rights violation in Bharat. It is they who bring these various indices, right? Trying to malign Bharat. Whereas the Defense Department is always positive. They are always encouraging Bharat as a market, and they always say that, okay, we don't have anything to do with the State Department. Yes, you please purchase defense deals with us. You are a very important partner to us. So this is a kind of a tactics that they use. Good cop, bad cop tactics. So the internal problems that we have been facing, yes, will gradually decrease. The internal problems with cookies, Metis, the Manipur problems, Khalistani movements, yes, Khalistani issues, Pannu, this will be taken care of. So this is what the relationship with Bharat, because Donald Trump is the president, is going to look like in future. So what was the immediate action after the result was announced? First was positive stock market. The stock market after the election was very, very encouraging. That stock market showed a positive growth. Another thing that happened immediately after Trump's victory was the Houthis called for ceasefire. So we can see who is behind all this ruckus which is going on in the global arena today. Yes, another thing, Khalistan sympathizers in Canada want Justin Trudeau to comment against Trump. Yes, even Canada, who is propagating all this nonsense, they are going to be stopped because of Donald Trump. So another person who is going to get a sleepless nights is Mohammad Yunus. Who is he, by the way? He is the present interim Prime Minister of Bangladesh, right? Or in other words, we can say he's a stooge of the deep state. And Donald Trump has categorically said that he is going to dismantle deep state. So Mohammad Yunus is a stooge of deep state. That is the reason why I've written here, Tera kya hoga bhai? There's a very famous dialogue in Sole, right? Tera kya hoga Kalia? So similarly, ab Mohammad Yunus ka kya hoga? Pata nahi bhai. So according to some reports, Mohammad Yunus has gone to hiding. Most probably he is in France. And incidentally, Macron is the president of France. He says now the West should not trust America. Why? Why is he saying that? Because now America will not give the aid to the West. Right? So at last, what do we expect? What can we expect in future? We can expect the end of Russia and Ukraine war. Okay, this is certainly going to end. Strong Modi 3.0. Why do I say this? Why do I say that? Just because Donald Trump is the president of the United States, Modi 3.0 is going to be strong. How many of you have seen the victory speech of Donald Trump? During his victory speech, there was a chant of Modi Modi going on. Yes, and many news outlets covered that topic. But everybody stopped just right there. They just said that there was a chant of Modi Modi in the victory speech. No further analysis was done. But after that, Donald Trump says very significant thing. He says that Prime Minister Modi is my good friend and he wants to do something and we will allow him to do that. Now that's a very strong statement by the President of the United States. He is saying that Modi is going to do something and we will allow him to do that. Now what is that something? It is for us and for the people to decide. One thing is for certain, that now whatever the action that you see from the central is going to be decisive. Yes, something big is happening. So you can expect a heavy action against illegal immigration. Donald Trump also says about illegal immigration, and here in Bharat also you can see action against illegal immigration simultaneously. Okay. And another thing we can expect is deals and commitments will be made effective. Even with the democratic government of Bharat has been doing some defense deals. Okay. But USA is not committing fully to their promises. Because the Americans are continuously delaying JE engines. And as a result, we are not getting the engines to use for our fighter jets. So this type of dual hypocrisy is not something that we should expect in Trump 2.0. So I have completed the PPT, right? So the victory of USA is definitely a positive news with respect to Bharat, right? He may be a very good bargainer, but we know how to deal with him. But as far as the relationships is concerned, I think we are going to go upward trajectory and hope for strong and better US-India relations. Thank you very much. And if you've liked the video, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next class. Thank you once again.